Dumb tradition. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Vito DINO podcast. This is episode number 61, which has no significance whatsoever on anything or anyone ever anywhere. My name is Vito Delsante. His name is Dean Haspiel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dean Haspiel.
It's 61.
Well, you know what it could be? Do you know that famous, I don't know if it's famous, but that Patton Oswalt bit about birthdays?
Remind me. I'm sure I do, but remind me about it.
So he agrees that you can celebrate the first 10 to 20 years of your birthday, and there are landmarks like 16, 18, 21, where you're
Right.
legally allowed to do certain things. And I think after that, he's like, just go to the zeros. Like forget the 9 years between,
Hmm.
from like 30 to 40, 40, 50 is a big deal. I guess maybe 65 because of retirement age or whatever.
Right.
But he said just on the zeros, maybe every 10 years you can celebrate your birthday. But he did say if you get to a certain age, let's say 90, and then he has these rules like you're legally allowed to like kill someone, you know, or do something awful. Like now it becomes you've gotten so old that you can do awful things and get away with it. And
Right.
it's a very funny bit. I forget what album that was on. And but the takeaway though is, yeah, man, I'm like I said, I forgot that I was 58. I thought it was 57. I'm gonna be 59. Who cares about 59? So 60, and then who cares about 61, right? So maybe nobody will listen to this episode because it's the 61st
It'll be
episode.
61. Nothing happens until 70.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
Um,
then again, they'll see the episode with Miskevich from last week, and they'll be like, "If there's another one like this, we can wait."
you know what though? We all have the gift of the gab, like,
I say that in love. That dude,
of course.
behind the scenes, I've gotten so many thank yous from him, and I'm like, dude, why wouldn't I? Like it's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, but he was so grateful and so appreciative. I guess I don't know, like just to speak to somebody about anything. He doesn't do the acting anymore, so maybe he's just, he feels like he's isolated or something like that.
Well, it is hard because between COVID making us more isolated for a
Right.
while, and now we have a sense of memory of that feeling,
Mhm.
right? So, and then people working now remotely more than ever, and now AI taking over, blah, 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 and all that other stuff. Human connection is more important than ever before, down to the point where, yes, guess what? Guess what? Our masters and our corporations, yes, you're going to make AI do everything. What are you going to have the people do? Like,
Right.
no, people who are not creative, let's say, and I don't mean that as a derogatory, just people who aren't us, like that are foolish to be
Right.
like, oh, I have to write a story and share it. I have to draw something and share it, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But people who also do super important things like plumbing, electricity, being a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, right? Like some of those jobs are going to be consolidated and taken away and taking away people's purpose,
Mhm.
you know, to be here. And that's what I'm really pissed off at. A lot of our leaders are not thinking about giving something for humanity to do.
Right.
Oh, we're going to make it easier on you and take away all this stuff and have the machines do it. No, don't do that. I
Yeah.
don't know math because of a calculator.
Well, that and like if you take people's purpose away, like and you're like, we're gonna make it easier on you. How are they gonna have any money to like indulge in these things? Like,
Right.
doesn't make
And
sense.
then they don't have any money and they can't buy the product that the corporations are
Right.
selling. It sucks, man. So what I was talking to somebody about today was if you're a creative person, in some ways, yes, a lot of jobs were taken away recently because of AI and expenses and money and everything else for freelance work. But just lean in more into who you are so that
Mhm.
literally they are just you are the one-stop shop,
Right.
kind of. So, and not everybody has that, and not everybody has built enough of a audience, let's say, or readership or whatever. It's hard, as you know,
Hmm.
Vito, even to do a Kickstarter, you
Yeah.
know, and get enough people. And speaking of which, how is that going for you?
We were gonna launch today. It was funny. I was talking to Charlie yesterday, and he goes, I was gonna this was on Tuesday that I talked to him, and he said I was gonna launch it on Wednesday. No, he said I was gonna launch it on Tuesday, but I realized I only had one reward.
Oh,
I
which
was
is the
like,
comic,
yeah. I think
right?
it was not even that. I think it was
But you
like
know what? I think that's a great reward right
I
there.
would love
That's
to do a Kickstarter like that.
yeah,
I
right,
think the only way you could do that is if you did the Make 100. Like,
right.
that's the only way that would make sense. So we were going to launch it today, and I said, "Look, if you're not ready to launch it, I'm not ready to launch it. I'm not going to afford like take an extra week. Like you're traveling, you're doing all this stuff. Like it's not." I was like, the only people we have to explain to are us until ultimately, like,
Well, well, here's the question though, because I was just thinking about how I'm working double duty at the studio. I'm exhausted and I'm sick right now, and like actually I feel a little bit better, but I'll explain that shortly. Um, but I'm like trying to color 2 pages a day, and then doing in between that because I had unexpected expenses. I put out a call
hmm,
for to do $100 sketches, and I've gotten like 24, 26 $100 commissions,
mhm.
on cheap cardboard paper, which I'll talk about again. But the point is, I'm now trying to do pages to get out the door by the end of this month, so that Josh Neufeld can put Antimatter #1 together. We
Right.
send it to the printer in hopes that it will be ready for the next couple of shows I'm doing. Even though, listen, is it a faux pas to like not be able to send it to all the backers first and then try to be selling it at a show? I think they would want you to. Your backers would want you to be available,
I
have the comic available as shows.
I don't know if it's changed in the past couple of years. There was always a level of exclusivity that was baked into Kickstarter. That,
Hmm.
yeah, you might go to retail with this thing, but these people are the people that believed in it first. So we
Yeah.
always try to give stuff to them first.
So I'm talking about, is there a difference between when you say retail? I just thought store, like on the racks.
That's if that's an option. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
there's not an option for everybody. That's not something that everybody does. A lot of
So for
people
me,
just
it's
do
literally
shows.
bringing something new to a show that I have ready, and to try to capitalize on that. And these are not the backers. I mean, if you are a backer, you can get your comic. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? At the
right.
show. And I feel like that's okay. But do you feel like that's should I say something? Like again, I may not have it ready
It
by
depends. I mean, it depends on if number one, if it's ready, and number two, if like once you receive them, let's say you receive them in April, that you have a show in April, you're like, I'm not going to be able to ship this,
right,
before I go to the show. So if you're going to the show, you can pick up
right,
your copy from me.
right,
And everyone who's not at the show, trust me, I will be sending them in the mail once I get
right,
back from this show. This is the timing of it. It's like, oh,
right.
I mean, if that's the scenario
Yeah,
that
again, and I'm not being like I understand the idea of exclusivity, but it's already such an exclusive item because you can only get it from me. Either I mail it to you or it's at a table, you
Mhm,
know.
mhm,
So I mean, we'll see if I can get it done. I was trying to get in time for the Kingston show, which is the same weekend as BIX, the Brooklyn Independent Comics
right.
Showcase at St. Mark's, and that would be like, was it the second or third week of April? So I'm rushing to do that. And also then I come back and just spend a week packaging and signing and sending and doing all that, shipping.
Right.
Um, Plus, then I have to do some more artwork because of certain levels and tiers, and going back to your project, uh, just having one tier level. Do you happen to know? Have you been discussing with Charlie like some of the other tiers, what they're going to be for Stray?
I haven't. I'm letting him kind of dictate that. I think it's just his typical ones that he does with Spider Squirrel, with the Zion Studio stuff. I don't think it's going to be anything different than that. Um, I know we're offering a collectible coin, like a challenge coin, for the first time. Uh, After that, I don't think that there's anything much more. I think it's just getting number three, then getting one and two, add on, like, or getting all three as a package, or, I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's going to be anything super. Um, it might only be like 4 or 5 tiers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be
Right,
anything crazy.
right. Keep it simple. Now, talk about the challenge coin. What is that?
I don't know. I think these things popped up like because Charlie does a lot of the kind of I don't want to say triathlons, but like the American Ninja Warrior type stuff, Tough Mudder, Spartan races, that kind of thing. And I think that they offer challenge coins. I think this is the origin of them, as a thank you for participating. You're not getting a gold medal because you didn't win it, but here's something that, proves that you did it. So he had done it for American Yakuza. I think he did one for one of the Spider Squirrel last ones that he did. And he was like, "Are you interested in doing one?" I was like, "Sure." So I think, there's a limited number that we're going to be doing. They're going to be numbered like on
Hmm.
the edge of the coin. So they're going to be limited. There's only two that people can't get, no matter how hard they try.
Hmm.
One of them is mine, one of them is Sean's. So, but they're
Hmm.
not number one and they're not number 100. They're kind of two
Hmm.
random numbers. Um, but that's about it. Again, like there might be,
It's a literal token. It's
yeah,
a token of
basically.
appreciation.
And
Yeah.
it's a really cool one too. It's got like Stray on like the Stray logo on one side, and then like the paw logo that he has on his belt on the
Hmm.
other. It's got the cityscape of Pittsburgh in one on one
Mm.
side, and dogs like pit bulls on it. So like it's very cool.
That does sound cool. Like I know often people, and I've done it myself. I did a bottle cap
Mhm.
opener. I did a sticker. I print sometimes. I know other people do. Like I'm not going to do the T-shirt thing, like, or
See,
it
I've
just
done it.
depends.
Impossible,
Hmm.
absolutely impossible. Like it was
Hmm.
tough, but I did it. Like, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'd ever do it again.
No, 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 no. I mean, if you want to bring it to a show, that's one thing. But like,
Mhm.
yeah. So and then so that's gonna maybe in a week from now, you're saying Stray one, two,
Yeah, I would
three?
say next week is probably more likely.
Okay. Um, there's
Which would
another,
be, since this is going to be on Monday, it should be tomorrow.
got it, the Tuesday after. Okay. The other thing that was we pulled the trigger on was the pre-launch
Mhm.
page, Kickstarter page for an anthology that you and I are both in
Yep.
called Real Life Comics Only in New York. And it's an idea that me and co-editor, co-curator Doug Latino, who we should have on the show to talk
Yeah.
about the project, um, we came up with this idea years ago. By the way, a New York Comics anthology, that's a no-brainer. Okay. So we came up with the idea. We just said it out loud like other people, do as well.
Right.
In fact, we met with a publisher that was very, very interested, a high-profile publisher, but it was just taking too long, to like get through the cracks. And like it was like this glacial process of pitching. And we had lunch and they were into it, but then nothing really happened.
Mhm.
And then I was working on other projects anyway, because I was realizing today, man, I've worked on a bunch of anthologies and they're always a headache.
Yeah.
Always. We're talking Activate Primer, Next Door Neighbor, Pandemics. Now this project, Real Life Comics, only in New York. And I'm sure I've worked on other,
Orphaned Works recently too.
what? Oh,
Orphaned Works.
Orphan Works. But I contributed. I'm not the
Right. I'm just
editor
saying,
or
like it's part of the anthology. Like
sure. And
litany
you,
of
I believe, have done well. You were part of Chemistry Set, which was
chemistry
kind
set.
of
We
like
did we did our own thing. I did pop. What was it called? Pop Gun. I think you did Pop
Pop Gun.
Gun as
Oh, I was in
well.
Pop Gun. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Um,
And so, and then there's Marvel and DC, like Bizarro, and but
and
that's why I'm a contributor,
I did the two Puerto Rico ones.
right?
The one from Lion Forge and the one from Edgardo Miranda Sanchez. That's not his name. Uh, Edgardo Miranda Rodriguez. Sorry.
Cool, cool. And actually, Tony Wolf, who's also in the book and has done his own graphic novel. I believe it's called The Green Point of View.
Mhm.
Uh, and told some life stories and packed it with anything he's ever written and drawn. It was massive, but it was also published by Cosmic Lion Productions. Cosmic Lion Productions is publishing Real Life Comics only in New York. But anyway, we announced the pre-launch page, which I've never really done. And when I was on Ink Pulp talking to Jim Mahfood and Sean Crystal, they're like, dude, you got to do a pre-launch.
Yeah.
Like you don't just do it the week before it launches, like no, 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 like a month or two, and then you build up. So the day you actually launch, boom, everybody gets the email and they come pretty quickly, and then, pick their tiers or whatever and pledge.
Mhm.
And it creates excitement. And I was like, oh, okay, that does kind of make sense. So I know you guys are going to, well, you've already kind of announced that this is happening. It's just you haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Right.
I
It's
believe,
the we're we I think we launched the pre-launch page. It was so funny. Charlie just did it one night, like it was 3 weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, look, Charlie shared. Oh, we're like I didn't know, like he didn't, that's the funny thing. Like I said to Charlie a couple of months ago when he was doing American Yakuza, I said, "Hey, I'm your editor, like include me in this stuff, make me a contributor so I can share these things." So then
right,
one day, just out of the blue, I just saw it on Facebook. I was like, "Oh, I should probably start sharing," and that's what prompted me to write
right.
that Substack about accountability and stuff.
Yep.
And so, like, I said to him this week, I said, please don't let me find out secondhand that the thing is launched. Tell me that we're launching so I can, prepare and,
Right.
share and bombard people with it and stuff. So,
But in a way, I think he might even know you well because you probably would naturally hesitate because of your history with Kickstarter and crowdfunding, and that you don't love to do it, which is one of the reasons why you're with Charlie,
I,
right?
I had gone into last year. I think you could probably pick out one or two episodes last year where I mentioned on the show or mentioned on Substack that my plan was never to do another Kickstarter. Like I still don't want to do Kickstarters because I would love to be able to just print them and just present them. The problem is uh, I have very long, like for a while now, been trying to climb out of debt because
Yeah.
I've just been paying out of my own pocket. And this is the only way to really do it, is to, build up that money so that way it can go into coloring the book and then printing the book, then shipping the book. And then
Mm-hmm.
hopefully there's something left over for the next episode, the next issue, or for me to allot to a different project or something. So it's necessary evil. And it's weird because I think everybody that does Kickstarter, Charlie included, because we've had these conversations, um, it's just kind of like, oh, well, it's still there, so we might as well just do another like shockingly, Kickstarter hasn't gone anywhere. I wouldn't say that it's heyday, like the time for Kickstarter being a big thing and like a necessary thing is gone. Like it doesn't exist anymore. There was like a period, I would say 2010 to 2015 or so, where Kickstarter was like exploding. Like everything, I felt like everything that went on there funded. Do you know what I mean? Like because it was so new and so attractive. And I feel like now that isn't so much the case. I feel like Kickstarter is a given, and I think that that's why a lot of people take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And like whenever you say you have a Kickstarter, sometimes people are like, "Really? Oh, I didn't realize." And I think what they're not realizing is that Kickstarter still exists. Kickstarter is
Right.
still viable. Kickstarter is still, working. Like,
Well, also publishers use Kickstarter. Most publishers I know,
yeah.
at least, so does Marvel and DC, but at least most indies use it for everything, and I don't know, man. I feel like my question to you is, let's say I make the comic and I didn't pre-sell it, and I do the Kickstarter and have backers, and I funded it myself, and then on my website or my Substack or whatever, I said, you can go buy my new comic now. How many people, or the same people who pledged on my Kickstarter or back my Kickstarter, would then come to my website or Substack or write or Venmo me personally?
I mean, it might be
Like
half. It,
it
it
might be
might
half
be
that.
like the idea that I had was, like imagine just showing up at Baltimore with like five comics you've never seen. You're like, wait, you didn't do this
Mhm.
on Kickstarter, and then like so the excitement's there, but you're not printing 1,000 copies of it. You're being reasonable. You're printing 50. Like maybe you'll sell them all, but
Right.
with I mean the idea being of building a library and not having to wait so long to fund stuff and to make it happen and stuff. That's part of the reason why I started trying to learn how to draw. I'm still trying to learn. Like,
Yeah, we haven't even come back to that.
yeah,
We
it's really not worth, talking about, only because like it's just been, I just got finished doing 6 straight days at work,
hmm
and I'm off today. We had to get the brakes fixed on the car, and then I was working on underboss for the most of the day, and then
hmm
tomorrow I go back to work. So it's like, like it's
Yeah,
not
when
like
do you do it?
right,
Yeah,
and it's not like it's just something's got to give. It's just like I want to. All my stuff is right here. I want to get to it, and I have every intention of getting to it. It's just I got to get this other stuff taken care of, so that way
yeah,
I don't wreck on my way to work, that kind of thing. That you know,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
and you
I
know what
just
it's like.
saw Fabrice Sapolsky posted today about how he, his relationship with AI, and he sees it as a tool, but of course it has its downsides that we're all constantly talking about. So he decided to, I don't know what he did because I didn't see the whole thing. I saw bits and pieces, but he had a drawing he did. And then I don't know if he put that into AI and then had AI do their version of it. But, side by side, I hate to admit it, it looked better. It also looked kind of like his art, and he got some things wrong,
Mhm.
but it did. And he's still kind of like learning how to draw. When I first met him, I don't think he drew that much, and then suddenly he's drawing a
Yeah,
lot, doing commissions and stuff. So, but it did beg the question, like, you know AI as a production service for your own work, just like when you did the test of doing
right.
a layout and what it did, which was crazy.
I
um
like funny enough, like I was I'm very, I don't want to say desperate, but I'm getting there. But I'm very keen to get that Stray Beast Within story out this year. And the guy who was going to do it, um he had some weird issues come up, funny enough, with AI. That's like like he's in Canada, so he's got like a lawsuit going and stuff, and he's been, losing, sleep, losing money, losing work, that kind of thing. And so like he's like, I really want to work with you, but I got to do this. I was like, you got to take care of yourself, man. I can't stress that enough. Like it's not, none of this comic is not going to take care of you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not going to, tuck you into bed at night. It's not going to give you chicken noodle soup. It's just going to exist to validate that you had talent at one point in your life.
yeah,
That's really it. Um, so I was trying to figure out, well, who's going to do this thing? Who's gonna ink it, or who's gonna, do the finishes or on it or whatever. Ultimately, we're going to have the artist that did the layouts do the finishes and inks and stuff. But I've been doing new layouts for him to adjust a couple of things, so that's where my penciling is coming in lately.
well, then you're doing
Right.
something.
But
you know?
my point bringing this all up is that going back to the AI thing is Matt Major, who's like the devil on my shoulder sometimes. He goes, "Well, why don't you see what AI does? Like, you put it through like Gemini or something, or Nano Banana." I was like, "All right, let's see." And I swear to God, Dean, it's the Doberman, like the Golden Age Doberman, who's got like pointy ears, like not Batman ears, and
Right.
they just gave me Batman, and I'm like, this is why you can't, like
Yeah.
it does not know nuance. It does not get the difference that,
Right.
you know, even though this is Batman, this is a Batman type story. It's Nighthawk from the Defenders. Like it does not know the difference. It's just going to make
Right.
Batman every time. That's why you
Right.
can't rely on it, with
Right.
um, any kind of like true dependency. Like, and I don't know, again, I agree. It's a tool that can be used, and
That you could train it to be your assistant or
right.
do the work for you. To me, that's not fun,
No,
but then
I
again,
don't want it to do the work for me, in terms of writing and stuff. What I want is for it to, um, what I wish it would do is kind of find my blind spots art wise
hmm
and fix that. Not so much draw the thing for me because I've proven that it can't do that at this point. But I can get a good design out of it. Like in that one Axioverse post on Substack, there are images that I don't think anybody could literally draw because they're, these kind of metaphysical type of representations of what the world tree in this universe would be.
Mhm.
So, I
Mhm.
mean, you could try.
Mhm.
I'm more than willing to have an artist draw it, but
Mhm.
like just for the sake of having the start of a conversation of an icebreaker, to have that image and go, this is what I saw, or this is what I was imagining, and I put it through AI, but what do you think? And like maybe you'll be
Right, right,
influenced by it, but the thing is, if you're influenced by it and you're an artist, you're not stealing from anybody. So I don't see
right.
that there's any legal recourse there. Um, it's the other way around when you're trying to get um, Barry Windsor Smith to draw a cover for you, and you can't afford Barry Windsor Smith, so you go, all right, give me a stray Barry Windsor Smith cover, and like you have an approximation of that. And it's like, well, it definitely knows who Barry Windsor Smith is. At least even if it's not trained on his art tangentially, it knows his name through the internet and can scour the internet in lightning speed and go, this is an approximation of the Barry Windsor Smith art.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the legal, disgusting part of it. Like you can't especially when he hasn't given his consent, to draw your thing in the first place. That's the thing
Mhm.
that I think people always forget too, is that like, yeah, you might not be able to draw, and yeah, you may not be able to find somebody that draws like Barry Windsor Smith, or you might not be able to afford somebody that draws like Barry Windsor Smith, because Barry Windsor Smith is Barry Windsor Smith. He's unique. Dean Haspiel is unique. Yvel Guichet, uh, uh, Stefan Rue, Chris Cross. These guys are all unique artists. Kevin McGuire, all unique, and they have their own style. And it's like to ask a computer to kind of replicate that is kind of, you're only getting halfway there. Like
Absolutely. And like, well, you mentioned Miscavige before, and one of the things he did is he sent us some videos
yeah,
that he had put through something of people passing each other or whatever. And there was an approximation of you, there was an approximation of me. And it's disturbing because it's not, but you can totally see how it could be or easily mistaken for,
yeah.
you know?
There's like the one that was me is probably the closest. It could be passed off as me,
Right.
whereas the one that was you, the only like when it was on the side, it was like that's not Dean, and then you turn and it's like that's
It's
kind of Dean.
close.
You
Sure.
know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. It was creepy. But yeah, I just had a thought and don't hit me. Um because you're talking about what's it called? Beast of Burden? No,
A Beast Within.
A Beast Within. And it's a one shot, it's a done in one story.
Mhm.
What if you kickstarted that instead?
That might happen. I mean, it might happen probably in the summer at this point. Like
Oh
with
no, no, no. I mean, instead of issues 1 through 3 right now, like when would issue 4 be kickstarted for this stray
my
story?
ideal timeline would be kickstart Stray now, 3 months kickstart Beast Within, 3 months kickstart, I don't know, whatever. Uh, but then, before the end of the year, kickstart number four.
Okay.
Maybe number four is that third one.
So
And
every three seasonally, like a seasonal
basically, yeah.
type thing. Okay.
And then number, like you can even say that the third project that I was like, whatever, that could be number four, because again, art's done, just needs to be colored.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
So, and the same thing with
All right.
Beast Within is we have layouts that David's going to end up doing, redoing the layouts, and then he's probably going to start inking them as well. It's just going to be, all right, do we want that in color? Do we want that in kind of like a monotone, like
Hmm.
a Dean Haspiel
Hmm.
type color? Speaking of,
Right.
those colors you sent me for COVID cop insurrection, I like, it's so funny. You're like, they're psychedelic, I don't know if it's too psychedelic. And then I'm like, no, it's Dean. Like it's,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it.
I wish I could
So,
show you. I think we can share a screen just as a little tease while we're here. Let me just pull up a page. Let me just pull up one thing here. Hold on a second. Not that one. Can I open up a page? Hold on one second. Let me go to colors. Um
Ice Cube.
ice no 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 that is it?
It's
No,
iced
it's
tea.
iced tea.
Yeah.
Um can't show that page. I can show this page. Page 7.
Don't show the page that
So
got you banned on Instagram for a day.
a
Bullshit.
day, a year, more
It wasn't a
like it.
year.
No,
It was like a couple of days. It was like 4 days or something.
no, but I'm not allowed to do certain things until October.
Oh, that's garbage.
Like live, whatever, like
Right,
it's
right.
messed up, man.
You did tell me that.
So
Yeah.
let me try and do this share thing. And then I think I got like I was going for like weird science kind of vibe. Do you see this?
It's coming. There it is.
Can you see it now?
Uh-huh.
And I'm going like it almost looks like Miami. I'm going for like Miami Vice 1980s
I
kind of
think I think you mentioned Dan Goldman at one
yeah, a
point.
little Dan Goldman flavor. But like even that should I don't know if that's getting bigger or not.
Yeah, it
But
is.
and like I'm just playing around. It's still a limited palette, although there's a lot more color going on because of it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm having some fun. And I hope Marvel doesn't sue me or DC, because I have these cosplayers that are dressed up like some of their famous characters. But yeah, so this is what I've been working on, like steadfastly, including a bunch of other things. How do I get out of stop share? Okay.
Sure.
So you were talking about expenses or a car situation. Let me tell you how whack my weekend was. So Friday, I go to the dentist because my tooth is hurting, and it's just very sensitive because the tooth is kind of shaved down closer to the root, as it were, like the shell or whatever of the tooth. So I go and he's like, "Yeah, you got to get a crown." And I'm like, "Well, how much is a crown?" And he's like, $1,800. I'm like, "I don't have $1,800." And luckily, he's a really cool guy. He's Dr. Rosen. And I've actually made him custom art, like
Yeah.
where I drew him as a superhero dentist type thing, and that was really cool. And I bartered with him, and he always cuts me a deal, and it was really kind. And he cut that price in half to 900, but still 900,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So I did the prep, and my face still kind of hurts. Um, and so that was Friday. Saturday, I go to visit my father. On the way back home from Long Island, which is like a 2.5, 3 hour drive to and from, right? Like
Yeah.
um, about a half hour from my dad. I forget the name of the town, but it was 20 minutes away from Riverhead. I hit the craziest pothole I've ever seen,
Oh,
and I could not avoid it. I saw it coming,
oh,
and it
hate.
was super foggy, and there were potholes everywhere. But this particular one was a monster,
It was like
and
a
I hit it.
sinkhole, probably.
And yeah, and the minute I hit it, I just grabbed the wheel. And Jen said I did a really good job. Thank God she was with me. And like the tire kind of exposed, but now it's going kind of
Yeah.
thing. And like I don't know, within 300 to 500 feet, I was able to find a right hand turn into a parking lot. Mind you, it's nighttime. It's kind of like off, kind of like a highway, but it's not a highway proper.
So it'd be
But
dark.
it's not residential.
Right.
And I'm like, what do I do? And I'd never changed a tire, even though I wrote a play called The Flat Tire about four people who can't fix a flat tire.
You're one of them.
And like, so we look at the back and we have this rinky dink spare tire that I'm gonna have to like blow up or something. So anyway, I call AA or AAA, sorry,
Yeah.
not AA. I wasn't drinking or nothing,
I'm
but
like, huh.
AAA, and they were pretty good actually. I gotta admit, they were like, we're gonna send somebody out. So within a half hour, 40 minutes, a big tow truck comes in with a young guy, strapping dude, and he's trying to get the tire off, and he's doing the nuts and everything. And he's like, he tries his best. He's like, it's seized. I'd never heard that term before.
Yeah, me neither.
The tire was seized, like it would not come off. Now, it might have had to do with the accident, like it was just locked in, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But he could not get it off. He tried his best. So then it became a situation of, oh, well, I'm going to have to tow it somewhere. Tell me where you want me to tow it to. And Jen's like, well, I think there's a Mavis. She trusts Mavis, but they're closed.
Yeah,
And
the
we did
tire.
try to call some places that were still open for like an hour, but after a while they were like not speaking English and hanging up on you because they
Yeah,
wanted to go home on a Saturday night.
sure.
Anyway, so I Jen decides we'll have AAA tow it to a Mavis and Riverhead, and then we're gonna have to figure out like how to get home.
Mm.
You know, so she looks up the schedule. There's one train like 45 minutes from that moment to Southampton to Brooklyn that I could get. So she calls an Uber that
Yep.
took us 5 minutes to get to the train station, but it was $35 because I don't know, Long Island prices or
Peak
something,
pricing probably. Or
or peak pricing. It's ridiculous. And then it was
yeah.
like $25 each for the train. They take my car away. We get on this 2 hour ride, get to Jamaica. We wait for 20 minutes for the next train to take us to Brooklyn. We get a
Mm.
cab. It was just like more money, just
Oh,
spending
you could
money.
see you could see like you ever watch a cartoon where you see the money just flying,
Yeah, just
like
flying.
you open up a wallet and just
And like I don't have this. So anyway, we get home that night. The next morning, I call up because the guy was going to put my key in a Dropbox at
yeah,
Mavis or whatever. And I'm like, I'm hoping that'll be fine.
yeah.
Like there goes the car. So I call up the next morning and they were really cool. And they looked under and they discovered that all four, first of all, the one wheel was destroyed. I need a new wheel, of course. But then they were like, yeah, you've got like 6-year-old tires. There's some rot happening, like rubber
Mm.
rot, tire rot. And then also my brakes were messed up. So I was like, okay, how much is that going to cost? And they were like $1,300,
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God. So from
And that's
900,
cheap, man.
and that's cheap.
Yeah.
So 900 at 1,300 plus 200 the night before with the towing costs $100. So like 1,500. So that's 2,500. And then we just spent Sunday. Jen luckily has a car. We drove to Riverhead, got the car, went to an Applebee's. I don't go to Applebee's. And then
You,
Applebee's. And then get home by like 6 o'clock. And like I just felt like it was such a waste of time and money. But you know what? This is life, right? This is
yeah.
maintain your car, even. And that's another thing. I wanted to check out and call the city up and be how many flat tires that night happened, you
Mm.
know, because and then the roads were just filled because of the recent snowstorm and ice and
Yeah.
everything and salt. It was insane. It's
Yeah,
just
that's the
bad out
state
there.
at that point, not even
That's
the
the
city. I
state.
mean, like the city would be in charge of like the streets in the town,
Right,
but like
right.
the highway, that's the state.
It was just so I'm sure a lot of there were, and also on the drive back and forth, and the next day, the amount of cars I saw on the side that were pulling out a spare tire
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
amount of potholes.
Probably because of that
So
same hole.
it was a pandemic of potholes, like
That's the
so.
title of your next COVID cop.
There you go, pandemic of
Speaking
potholes.
of titles and stuff,
I know,
oh
right?
boy, people. So you might remember a couple of months ago we came up with the character rim job.
Uh huh.
We came I came up completely by accident. I was typing in the word Kickstarter, and I and you are right next to each other. It goes TYUIOP, right on the keyboard. So I wrote in Kickstarter,
Buck
and I
starter.
was like, no, people are going to make fun of me. I can't. And I was like, wait, file that away.
Yeah.
I gotta use that somehow.
Oh hell
And
yeah.
and we came up with between Dean, Matt Major, and myself texting each other, we came up with the ultimate nullifier type of thing.
That was all you, my friend.
That part was me, yeah.
That's all
But,
you, the ultimate nullifier.
well, yeah.
That cut starter. I mean, come on, it sells itself,
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely. I got to tell
So
you about what happened today while I was
okay,
here working on underboss stuff. So Michelle
right.
gets a call on Gmail, so through Google Meet, and it's a number she doesn't know. It's like, who is this person? So she just like declines it, and then they call back, and it's like, what is happening? Like, who is trying to call Michelle on her email? Like, they have to have her email somehow, and they're trying to call her through this. So she answers. No, she doesn't answer. She's like, I'm not answering it. Here, you can take it. So Sadie's home from school because she had a doctor's appointment. Michelle is putting up a shelf uh, in James's area, and I take the call. And Dean, they kept calling me Churchill for some reason. Like they had a pretty good grasp of English, so I don't know why they were calling me Churchill or something that sounds like Churchill. but I just start like yelling, "Who's Churchill? Who's Churchill? Who's Churchill? Don't call me Churchill!" Like I went berserk. And then what I did the best thing you could do with a prank, not a prank, but like a scammer, especially if you have them on the phone for a while. I went manic. Like I would scream and then I went, "I'm sorry." I just, you know. So then they gave the phone to somebody else, and it sounded like a 14-year-old boy, or even younger. Pretty sure it was a woman, but like it sounded. I was like, I need to speak to an adult. I can't talk to you. Like I need to speak to
Right,
an adult. They're like, I
right,
am an
right,
adult. I'm a grown man. I was like, you're a
right.
little boy. I need to speak to an adult. You can't employ children in America. like like
What the?
I went, and you were like talking about how with all the events of Saturday and Sunday, how like you were
Oh, I
just
haven't gotten to Monday yet. I
okay,
haven't even
but
gotten to
like
Monday. We'll get there.
the reason why I'm bringing it up is because
Yeah, yeah.
you're talking about how spent you were and like you found yourself
Oh,
in an
yeah.
Applebee's. I was like, after they hung up, because who could deal with me? They hung up, and I was like, I need a nap. Like I
Yeah.
was so
Oh my God.
exhausted from my performance.
Right. You're reminding me of that scene in Swingers
Oh
when
yeah.
John Favreau's gone on a date
Uh-huh.
and I think he feels like he botched it or he likes her or something, and he
He
keeps
makes all those
calling her
calls.
over and over and over again. It has a whole meltdown relationship with
Uh,
her,
I
a
that
one-sided relationship.
scene almost makes me throw up every time.
Yeah,
Like it's so like I've never been that guy, but I've
yeah,
known that guy, and it's
uh-huh.
oh,
Or I've been close to being that guy. Um, yeah, no, I
definitely.
get it. But so, yeah, man, the exhaustion of the mental, like I have never been in a situation where I was like, oh my God, I literally need help and we have to pay for help and we have to
Yeah.
figure out how you do it. I kept thinking about the fact that we have all this technology with us that we can make this work. What
Mhm.
if we didn't have a cell phone and had to go find a phone or
Yeah.
hail? Like, oh my God, Vito.
Yeah.
So anyway, get the car, we come back. Monday, I noticed that my cat's like speaking of my own tooth, she also was like, oh, there's something wrong with her side of her mouth is like chattering kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I decided, all right, I gotta make an appointment and go to my vet, which is downstairs. And I take her, and they're looking like, yeah, she probably has to get a tooth extraction. I was like, well, how much does something like that cost? She's like, I don't know. We'll do an estimate. And like, was it yesterday morning? And so we get like, we get charged for a visit. We get like some medicine to give her, some antibiotic type
Mhm.
thing, and maybe a pain relief, I hope. And I get an estimate. And it's like, yeah, if it's one tooth, it'll be $2,200, and if it's more, it'd be up to about 3,000. And I'm like,
How much is it to put down the cat? And I say that because it's probably cheaper. That's
oh,
the
of course it is,
freaking weirdest thing
of
about the whole
course.
thing. It's like,
Well,
oh
also it's weird is that human beings cost a lot less to get a
yeah,
tooth extracted. But I
yeah.
guess because it's a full operation, it's like it's not like Novocaine and pull a tooth out.
It's anesthesia. It's the whole thing.
It's
Yeah.
it's an operating table type situation. So, and there's more care I think that is taken because it's a little animal,
Mhm.
like, and so I was freaking out and going, oh my God, I need to raise that's like $5,000 now in one week in 3 days. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening? So I went online and I just out of the blue, and last week I think I showed you this Batman
Yeah.
drawing, which I'll show you again right now. I just was like, oh, I wonder if I could just sell this and make some money. Like,
Yeah.
is this money now? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that that's what we do when we sell our comic books or our original art, but I
Yeah.
really was thinking this like, oh, this could be money, right? So I went online and I was like, I'll do a down and dirty $100 sketch on cheap cardboard. Just DM me or whatever, or hit me up kind of thing.
Mhm.
I got a great response.
Yeah.
I think I'm up to 26 people now,
Do you
you
know
know?
I think that's the lesson you learned from going to OAX.
It
It's
is exactly because when I was at OAX or Original Art Expo in Orlando, Florida, like 2 weeks ago or whatever,
mm,
and what they were doing was featuring and celebrating and selling original art,
mm.
not necessarily comic books, but artwork. And I brought comics and I didn't really bring artwork because I don't sell my art, as you know. And then I
Did you
was like, but
sell
I
any
do
comics while you
commissions.
were there?
I did sell some
Okay,
comics. I actually
I was
did. And
wondering.
because they were rare too, it wasn't like an issue of X-Men or something, or
Sure.
if it was an issue of X-Men, it's because John Romita Jr. is there,
Right.
or Walt Simonson, signing X Factor or Thor or whatever,
Mm,
like, so that's why you have those comics is to get them signed, right? For me, I'm like, here's my little rinky dink, deep cut comics,
mm.
kind of thing. So I've gotten a bunch of commissions. Some of them are a little funky. I don't like to do likeness if I can avoid it. But at 7:30, I had my um, phone alarm set, and I knew we were going to talk a half hour later at eight
Mm.
o'clock. Usually on Thursday nights we do this around 8 o'clock.
Right.
So I decided. Well, two people wanted Godzilla. One was for a kid, and one's for an adult. And in that half hour, I did this Godzilla.
I love that you have the Dean Haspiel eyes on a Godzilla.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then, well, this is more of the Godzilla, and this is more for the kid.
Oh,
Old
that's
school.
awesome. That's
Is
great.
that
You've
cool?
drawn Godzilla before too, so
And I've done a Godzilla comic, but not in a long time. And
yeah.
while we're here, I just want to quickly show off. I did. This was pretty hard, and this is actually my second attempt. And I'm just trying to do them. And this is less down and dirty because I was trying to be more accurate. Does that look like
Oh, the
somebody?
prisoner, yeah.
Yep, prisoner. And then here, quickly just go through these. This was a fun request. I've never drawn this character.
Oh, Howard the Duck, really? You've never drawn him?
I've never drawn Howard the Duck.
Oh.
How about that? And then we got Ed Cato, who
Mhm. Captain
is a
Action.
Captain Action guy. He asked me for this guy,
Ha.
Dr. Evil, which is fun. Uh I then got Tony Wolf asked me for another character I'd never drawn.
Tony Wolf. Oh,
Tony
really?
Wolf. I've never drawn Mr. Miracle,
I was
you
really
know.
hoping he would ask you to draw him because Tony does a lot of auto bio stuff.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And then this is a twofer because why not? And I just did a quick drawing of like kind of like a Supergirl
Ah,
type thing. And then the thing.
you could
I
call it a
mean, it's,
Marvel two-in-one.
it's total a Marvel Toon one. These guys. So that's a twofer right there. So I've been having fun, but it's also adding more stress because I'm trying to finish the comic, Antimatter. I also have to do sketches for that as well.
You have to
Uh,
ship these, like,
do all that and do some shows and hope. But also, I could not bring it to it may not be ready for these early
mhm.
April shows or mid-April shows. We'll see. But I like that I created this and then I have a bunch more commissions that have these down and dirty drawings I'm doing on cardboard, and I'm trying to draw them in 15 minutes or less because that's part of the down and dirty,
Right,
ethos.
right.
Like to not let it be perfect. And in some ways, Vito, I swear to God, this is crazy. I like this art almost better than anything else I'm drawing when
You were
I'm
saying
considered
last
on the
week too.
page because it's so like well, also allows me to have more fun with the brush,
Mhm.
the way the brush hits the cardboard, the cheap
Yeah.
cardboard, which I haven't found in a white piece of paper, only in this kind of brownish tan kind of cardboard, paper, which is harder to scan and publish because you can't unless I drew a comic that looked like that.
Right.
Um,
That's called hip hop.
that's right, baby.
We don't like white paper. We like brown
They-
paper.
we like brown paper. It could be brown paper comics, man.
Oh
Like
man, there you go.
I mean, what a brown bag comics? It comes with a
Brown bag
40, right?
comics for green.
Oh shit! I should do. Well, we'll figure
Write it
that one out.
down. Write it down. Just
Yeah,
write the
brown bag
idea down.
comics. So down and dirty is what I've been doing, and like it's kind of taught me a little bit of a lesson to be a little more free and to like maybe work on even cheaper paper somehow. I don't
You know,
know,
I'm
and
not
go
going
with
to
the
mention his
flow.
name, but we have a mutual friend. I'm sure if anybody follows us, they probably can figure out who it is. But he's going through some times. He's another artist, and he started a GoFundMe, and he posted this thing about like how people were like, "Why are you begging?" And stuff. And it's like, you know, I don't,
Oh, I saw that.
I don't think you understand what it takes to ask for help. Like for like a person to literally just take a 5 seconds and go, all right, I've exhausted everything that I can do. I've asked everyone that I can ask. Now, or I've done everything I can to fix this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask somebody for help. The the
Mm-hmm.
the amount of pride that goes out the window once you ask somebody for help. And then to throw at them that like they're begging for money. It's like, dude, that's what asking for help is sometimes. Sometimes it's asking for something that you can't you can't provide yourself, so you have to ask somebody to help you with it. Like that's what help
Right.
is. Like I don't get the shame that people need to put on other people because they've never asked for help. It's like, God,
Right.
I'm so happy you've had a blessed life, man. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
like if you've never had to ask for help, mazel tov. That's
And I'll
what.
tell you this. I'll even tell you this. I don't have a lot of money. All
Mhm.
right. No, none of us do. And when he put out that call for help, I donated $50 knowing I don't have it. And then the
Right.
next day I was up $5,000 extra in the hole, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was going to take it back. And that's the other thing I didn't want to do, and I haven't, is I have some money earmarked. You know what it's for?
Rent.
Printing of the comic, shipping and packaging, and for the comic book, because I promised that.
Yeah.
So, you know, did I expect these things to happen? And suddenly, like a service needs their money. Like they weren't going to tow my car unless I paid it right in front of them,
Right.
because I could whatever, I could get to it someday, like, so they were like, you got to pay it now. I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
doing it, kind of a thing. So life often gets in the way of your plans,
Yeah.
what I discovered was, not only do we want to help, but like I'm trying to create this shorthand. It's even more of a shorthand with these down and dirty, drawings, and that was another thing. What I was avoiding saying was quick and dirty. And I don't
Hmm.
mean dirty as in like pornographic or anything, but like schmudgy, like it's
Well,
crappy
and
paper
yeah,
with and the pencils have not been erased. There's still blue pencil underneath, that's the dirty part. And the down part, I was trying to figure, well, what's down about? Is it like down like your hip? You're cool, you're down, right? Like
right.
it could be quick and dirty. I was like, no, 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 you're down and dirty, you
Hmm.
know? So I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. And I might continue to offer that because it's like making money. And again, it's toward bills, man. It's
Hey
toward
man,
food, it's toward
$100
production,
in 1 week, like goes towards any number of things in your house.
any number of things.
Like and then you add like 20 of them. That's that's a pretty
Right.
good $2,000 for a month. Like
Yeah, man.
God
Yeah.
knows.
Well, do me a favor. You actually told me you read some comics this
I
week. I,
did.
I have not read any comics, and get me hip. And I appreciate you sent me some absolute Batman and New Gods that I still need to get to.
Okay.
So
So I think everybody knows that I'm a JSA fan. This is the Jeff Lemire, Gavin Guidry year one of the JSA story. This is part five. The thing about this that I want to point out is if you remember during Black History Month, I was mentioning Amazing Man. There he is. One of my favorite characters, favorite characters, period.
and
Um,
why is that? Because of the costume design or something about the character?
I don't know, man. Like just Roy Thomas and Jerry Ordway, like were drawing him in All Star. I mean,
Right.
All Star. I figured it out the other day. Do you remember Genovese drugstores?
Yeah, of course.
Genovese drugstore in Staten Island, on Highland Boulevard, is where I got my first All Star
Okay.
Squadron comic. Like right
Right.
on the corner of Highland and oh, I forget the name of the cross street, but it's now there's a CVS across the street, which is
Mm-hmm.
I think put them out of business like in the late 90s, early 2000s even. But that Genovese was where I got my first All-Star Squadron.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
he was in it and I've been in love with the character since.
Right. Do you think you're reminding me, Vito, that sometimes, Spider-Man's popular, Superman, Batman, all that. And the more you read comics or characters, I feel like we're always seeking that underdog, that one that nobody talks about and doesn't like, and that becomes your favorite character,
There's
right?
a bunch from DC that I could name like that are just like, really, you like him? Like same funny thing enough, almost all of them from All-Star Squadron. Tarantula, Robot Man that's not from the Doom Patrol, like the Golden Age Robot Man.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Like there's a bunch from All Star Squadron, and like that was the absolute pleasure of
Right.
reading Crisis on Infinite Earths because you got to see
Right.
them for like a panel or two before they got
Mm-hmm.
wiped out of existence or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like anything like I wouldn't say obscure DC characters are my favorite. Um,
Right.
there are probably some obscure Marvel ones that I'm just missing, right now. But the
Right.
funny thing is, the obscure Marvel ones are always ones that people venerate for like the dumbest reasons, like D-Man. Like
Right.
D-Man was like cool for a second because he was Captain America's buddy. He had Wolverine's mask, Daredevil's like costume.
I remember that. Like, to me, that was ridiculous. Like, actually, there's a Steve Ditko character whose name escapes me that also is like pattern, like half patterns all over
Uh,
the place, and like fun to look at and a bitch to draw, right? Because oh my god, every panel you got to do that shit. Like, you know, and it's just like Metamorpho can be like,
yeah.
you know, he's like four or five different things. Now I remember there was a George Perez drawn issue. I think Marv Wolfman might have written it, maybe Roy Thomas, but I think Marv Wolfman, a Fantastic Four issue where they were like half the FF were gone and they were trying to audition people. And like Texas Twister, I think was the name of one
Oh, I love
character.
Texas Twister.
And then like a whole bunch of, and I feel like one character came in and he might have ultimately been Impossible Man, like
Mm. In
in
disguise.
disguise or something. But I remember thinking, oh my God, this is absurd, like, but you can
That's
have fun with anything, it's like jazz.
I gotta give Dan Slott credit because Dan Slott has like the same type of affinity for these dopey characters. And
Right.
like in his She-Hulk run, he brought a bunch of them back. In his uh, GLA Great Lakes Avengers run, he had a couple of them as well. Uh, Dan Slott appreciates a really obscure character, man. Um,
Hmm.
Second book I bought. These are going to be all DC books. It's just nothing at Marvel's really, speaking to me. Perhaps when Daredevil #1 comes out, I'll probably jump on that. But Matt Fraction's Batman #7. This is the first part of a new storyline, so this is a good jumping on point. And he does something crazy with the Joker. It's not something I've ever seen anybody do with the Joker, but it's just
Right.
he almost makes the Joker Hal from 2001.
Oh, weird.
It's very weird. Like I'm not gonna open this is a gatefold open that you can open up
Right.
here, but
Right. Right.
look
Right.
at that. Like just that right there.
Jesus.
This is Jorge Jimenez doing the artwork. And I don't want to open it up because it'll spoil it a little bit, but
Right. 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 Wow.
like great jumping on point. The last page of the story is you hook me. Like
Oh,
just
really?
the last page is
And this is the second arc.
this is the second arc, yeah.
And how was the first arc?
I don't have all the issues. I'm waiting. I actually just ordered the trade because I definitely want to read all of them. I have the first issue, but I didn't get caught up on it uh,
Okay.
in
Okay.
time. But I saw #7. I was like, all right, jumping on because I did like everything that I've read, you know, prior to this. So I just fraction on Batman, just keep him on there for as long as you can. Same with
Right.
Jorge Jimenez. My goodness, what a beast! Him and Dan Mora. Where do they come from?
It's incredible, and actually, it's funny because like you're saying, Dan Mora and they're like the modern John Byrne, George Perez in a way,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Like killer artists, man. Like, and they're just hitting out of the ballpark. Even though I don't, well, I do read Dan Mora when he was on World's Finest.
Right.
I don't think he's on that anymore. I don't
No, I
know.
think he's over on Justice League Unlimited now
Oh, okay,
with Mark, but
okay. And then you had a third, I think.
yeah. Our screens froze for a second. I'm just giving it a
Oh,
second to catch up because I'm
okay.
funny enough. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say I was like this for a good couple of seconds, and then I was like, I'm over on this side now. The last thing I picked up, it's 2 weeks old, but I hadn't been to the comic store yet. Was this gem of a book, the
We were
Dakota?
talking to Joe Illage about it.
Yeah. It came out right after we talked to Joe, and so like I wanted to, #1.
Say the title so that the listeners.
It is the new history of the DC universe, the Dakota Incident. And I tell you what, Dean, #1, I think Joe does this story like it's split up by a couple of different artists. And
Right,
Joe does like kind of the introduction story, which, great because Joe was probably, there during a lot of the introduction of these characters. And
right.
he does it with Valentine Delandro as the artist. And if you look
Hmm.
at it and you just blink kind of quick, you think it's Jean-Paul Leon,
Oh wow.
who passed
Oh
away and who
wow.
actually worked on Static. So
Oh
it's a
wow. That
very,
might have been a conscious decision, of
I think
course,
so. And
right?
I think that's a great, kind of like you're looking at it and you're just like, you kind of fall into it. And you're just like, oh, wow, this is crazy.
Right, right.
Um, very, I mean, dumb of me to say, it's extremely well written, very intriguing. I almost wish they had an entire miniseries just for this story because
Wow.
this story is
It's a done in one. It's a one issue.
yeah, it's too compact almost. Like there's
Oh,
so many different things. It's like I want to know why this guy did this, or
right,
what happened to the
right,
one that was in the background there, or whatever.
right,
It
right.
is so well made and so well like how much did I spend on this? $5.99, worth every penny.
Awesome.
I would have paid $10 for more.
Right,
Like
right,
it's so good. And it's so like it's going to I mentioned last week it's going to a second printing. Um,
right.
I'm tempted to buy another issue just for the second printing, just to keep supporting it and to try to get more because my God, like there's I can't explain it any better than I could have read this for hours. Like it
Because
was
you like being in that world. You're reminding me of uh, not Final Frontier. What's the darn
New
code?
Frontier.
New Frontier. I just wanted to stay there.
Yeah. And the thing about it is there's so much I don't know about these characters that kind of kept me from rediscovering them throughout the years.
Mm,
Hardware is the only one that I really know about because I actually dug Hardware and I read Hardware,
right.
but I didn't know much about Icon and seeing Icon, fight Captain Atom, which is in one of the scenes. God, that's what a great battle that would be. Like just on
Right,
paper, it's just like, oh, that makes sense. That's a good one.
right.
Just seeing the Suicide Squad in there and just like I don't want to spoil anything because it's like I said, they worked hard on this. It shows to be able to put all of the information that they put into just that
Yeah,
was so much work, and like they need to be
yeah.
praised and they need to be um, uh, gifted with a series or something to come out of it
Sure. Well,
because
hopefully that's what it'll yield, right?
yeah,
Like
it was incredible. Like it really
you
was.
keep reminding me, man, like when we had that groove, you're doing Purple Heart, I'm doing Red Hook, Seth
Mhm.
writing, the Brooklynite. And we had like this momentum. And then
Yeah,
Adam McGovern and Paolo Leandri did Aquaria. And then we had like four, main characters that, we could have played with more. So, and now we branched out years later and I'm still have the Red Hook characters. But then I got, my old school Billy Dogma. Then we got COVID Cop Chestface. You've got Stray and a bunch of your characters, including Underboss that you're developing right now.
mhm.
We got Charlie McKelvey with Trash Panda and Spider Squirrel and his universe of characters. Ray Anthony Height with Midnight Tiger and his characters, right?
Mhm.
Like I just keep seeing like, where it's our Charlton, it's
Yeah,
our Atlas, it's our adjacent to the big two type thing. And I'm not even trying to compete and just it's just that flavor, that idea, that feeling. And I wish that there was some way we could create like something that had momentum, like that wasn't just one issue a year or
yeah,
something that like, was kind of like a three-fisted tails type thing, Tales to Astonish type comics, where we have these comics that maybe are just chapters of, but they're somehow also connected in some way,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've figured out a way to connect them. It's just a matter of doing it.
Time
And
and
again,
money, time and money.
goes back to what I said at the beginning of the episode. It's like I draw these things myself, but who would read them if I drew them? Like so. It's like,
Well, I mean, become a serial killer and then John Wayne Gacy it. You know what I'm
oh yeah,
saying? Like that's
that's an
all.
option,
There's
believe it or
there's an
not.
option. I just gave you a way out, man.
Yeah.
So those are the three comics. I'm trying to think if I've what I've seen or what I saw.
Hmm.
Speaking of seeing, I saw the new Jurassic World Rebirth, whatever
The
I
one
think
with
it's called,
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson,
Uh,
and it's okay. It's okay.
They,
They had their mission. What was weird watching it though, not one drop of blood.
hmm.
Like it was very Disneyfied. Like
Wow.
like like PG, you know, and some of the scenes were so stupidly written. And sometimes, Spielberg is really good at plausible, you know, fear and action.
Okay.
Like it feels like that could happen that way.
Hmm.
You watch an action scene, you're like, dude, you could have just,
Yeah.
or why are you doing it like that? In the audience, in the moment, you're criticizing, like, you know, and not because you're an idiot. I think some of the best, like the Coen brothers,
Yeah.
everyone's stupid. They're doing the stupid, like Fargo.
Yeah.
The guy's making the worst decisions every time, and it just escalates into worse, right?
Mm.
Until you're in a fucking wood chipper, whatever. Um, so like but that's the conceit. Or in Unforgiven, the conceit is that, Clint Eastwood, when his character, William Money, I think his name
Yeah.
is, gets drunk, is when he can accurately shoot and kill men.
Yeah.
But most people, drunk or not, can barely hold a gun and point it straight,
Mm.
and that's a power that he loathes because, of his history with the gun, so there's conceits, but sometimes you watch like people dealing with dinosaurs and you're like, first of all, that's impossible, like, but that's what's also great about it, like, oh my god, you're really going to be dealing with dinosaurs,
Sure.
so, but then it's like, really, okay.
Well, the thing is, um, when you first saw the first Jurassic Park, it was like the idea behind it about getting like DNA from a mosquito that was trapped in amber. You know what I mean? Like there was some pseudoscience, but some science, that you're like, oh, that's how the and years later people still talk about it as if it was a possibility. And I
Right,
think somebody in the past 10 years is like, you couldn't do that ever. But
right,
how many of these movies have they made? Now, if they only stopped at the first one, we'd be talking about how genius it is. But
right.
sequels, beget sequels
Well,
means that it gets dumber and dumber and dumber.
it
But
can
more
get dumber.
importantly, we forget that dinosaurs are really made are children's things. Like
Right,
in our
right.
society nowadays, adults don't really think about dinosaurs like that unless you're Steve Bissett and Tyrant coming soon to Kickstarter.
Going soon. Tyrant,
But
or your Walt Simonson, where you
or your
sign your
Walt
name
Simonson,
like a dinosaur,
right?
right?
But most of the time, like kids are the ones that are fascinated by dinosaurs because they think about them like, oh, they're gone, but we have these remnants of what they were in fossils and stuff, and they kind of their imagination goes. And so when you put Jurassic Park on the screen, it's their imagination coming alive.
Right.
You're only going to be able to reinvent that wheel twice. You know what I
It's
mean?
hard, and first of all, the Jurassic Park was already a reinvention of what 20 years earlier,
20 years earlier would have been 19,
70s.
yeah, 1969, 70.
So think about who wrote Jurassic
Michael
Park.
Crichton.
What did he write before that? The same exact idea.
It's not the Andromeda strain.
No, Westworld.
He did write Westworld. I forgot.
The same exact idea. Now
Yeah.
it's dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what was cool partially, I'm not like, it was entertaining, it was fun. It's just sometimes the dealing with the impossible. Sometimes that works in a superhero movie better for some reason, versus like dinosaur. Like anyway, but
Here's
what
here's
was
the here's the
well, I
thing
was
though.
gonna say real quick,
Oh, go ahead.
before, was that the movie starts that people are done with dinosaurs. They're bored. They don't care anymore. They literally have become
Us.
dinosaurs. So like that's a great, like, oh, the wild, spectacle and sanity of dinosaurs on our world today, and alive and all that, and a park and everything else, and of
Yeah.
course whatever happens, the disasters. But now they're just like regulated to like some tropical island that nobody can go to anymore. The ones that are still left alive, and like it starts with, I was showing Jen because it was in Dumbo, the
Hmm.
Brooklyn Bridge. There's a big old dinosaur that's just kind of dying. It's just laying across like 2 city blocks worth of Dumbo by the Brooklyn Bridge. Like, and I was like, I felt sad, but also I was like, this is kind of what an interesting idea. Like, and what's the mission? I'm not going to spoil it. Watch the movie. There is a mission, to go to the tropical island and then get some samples for some reasons. Um, but yeah, it was good, but it also felt felt like AI wrote it.
Mm, mm. That's
You know,
interesting.
like it didn't have balls. It didn't have the cojones that sometimes those movies can have and it wasn't scary. Anyway,
I liked Jurassic Park the first time when it was called Godzilla.
uh
However, I did a rewatch over. I finished it last week, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But finished it just before the week ended last week. I watched Watchmen, the TV show again.
oh my God, I need to see that
It is
again.
phenomenal. Like I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, it was phenomenal when I watched it, and I watched it again, and I was just like, I wasn't trying to find something or oh, let me nitpick or let me find an Easter egg or anything. I just wanted to
Right, right,
watch it to enjoy it. And
right.
it's so good. Like I don't if I were Alan Moore, and I'm not, so I can't possibly think his way, but I would be so proud of it. Like, wait, somebody read my thing and this is what they thought. Like like I don't understand why he's so. I know I do understand. He got kind of fucked by DC and Warner Brothers and everything. I get it,
I
but
don't think he did. I
but
real quick,
yeah,
just
yeah.
hot take. He signed a contract when he did Watchmen
Mhm.
or anything, when he, that said, "Oh, well, you'll get the rights back once it's not selling anymore,
Once it goes out of print, is what they said,
once it goes out of print or whatever." Right?
and
It
they
doesn't
didn't
go.
realize they were printing money, so they never let it go out of print.
And
It's
and
kind of
it well, it sells. It's why would you stop selling something that sells?
exactly.
That's the
It's a
business.
dumb thing to sign, but also it's a pretty rotten thing to say to somebody like, "Oh, we'll give it to you once it stops selling," and it's like
But also he could be making what Dave Gibbons is making on it, and I think he rejects the checks. I don't know.
it actually
I've
says
heard,
Watchmen created by Dave Gibbons, and
yeah, right. He wants his name off of it.
yeah,
He doesn't want it. I mean, I've never met the man, and I'd be
me
like,
neither.
Alan, that's 12 issues.
But
Like
it's like, but I go back to what I was saying though. Is like if he watched it, I think he would be. I mean, I don't know. I can't say this, I guess, but I would be so impressed if I were him.
so.
Like,
If it were you that were Watchmen, and you
mhm,
saw this iteration, and was it like 30 years later or something?
yeah, give or take.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on this. I think,
It's just such a it's an this show is an achievement, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, other than me watching it again, is the whole Paramount buying Warner Brothers is going to ruin Warner Brothers, like,
yeah.
and even including DC Comics, including the DC movies, including anything like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, anything that's remotely associated with Warner Brothers, going to be ruined by Paramount.
You know what? Here, I'm gonna another hot take.
So I'm glad I
Ten
got to
years from
watch it again before.
Oh yeah, 10 years
We,
from now.
it's going to be in the Disney vault.
Yeah, right. And actually, it'd probably be too risque now for Disney because
Oh,
I do feel like Disney's being playing it safer and safer and safer. Someone wrote, oh, we'll bring this up in a moment. The
yeah. Yep.
Someone wrote that. Oh, I was looking up. Well, we'll get to this in a minute. Um, so, Ryan Carey, the critic, comics critic, was talking about Dark Knight Strikes Again, which
Mhm.
was the sequel to The Dark Knight by Frank Miller, and he listed it as in this book, this magazine of the top 100 best superhero comics of all time. I guess the publication is called Die with Your Mask On,
Mhm.
and you asked me to order this so we could talk a little bit about it. But they listed as the 100th, not the first, but the
Mhm.
last out of the 100 of the best superhero comics is Dark Knight Strikes Again. And he says something really interesting in here. He goes, um, da, 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 it's an even if you don't or if you don't like it, you're lost. You damn sure have to respect it for its sheer bravado alone. If it's been a while since you revisited it, I'd encourage you to do so again. And you may be surprised at what you find. An almost utterly improvised work that still stands to this day as the most aesthetically and conceptually radical comic that DC has ever published.
Yeah.
And I
I
kind of agree with that,
I do too.
you know?
Absolutely. it's very Dark Knight Strikes Again is audacious. Like
Right.
the audacity
I
of a
remember reading it the first time going, I hate this. And then I read it a year later and I was like, this is amazing. It's brilliant. I love it.
the thing that I've learned since working at Jim Hanley's universe and since becoming a creator in my own right, because that happened within the time that I was there, um, is that we judge fiction weirdly. And it depends on the fiction that we're judging. Like film, I think we judge it against whether this would be happening in real life, or if something like this, like Jurassic Park, like, oh, what would I do if dinosaurs were running around Pennsylvania? Um, Comics, I think we judge too harshly against actual literature, like
Mm,
because literature can get away with a lot of things because it's happening all in your brain, and
hmm
because we're seeing the images, we go, no, I don't think so. And
hmm
the thing about Dark Knight Strikes Again is you number one, you go, well, Frank's art's not the same. Well, no shit. Frank
hmm
got older. Frank broke his arm
hmm
at one point. Frank
hmm
redrew, like had to learn how to redraw at some point. Like, oh, well, Frank got DC paid Frank $1 million. Whether or not that's canon or just
No, it's true. It's true.
apocryphal, whatever the case may be, I don't care. Like
It's
that's
none of our fucking
it's not my
business.
money. It's
And it's
DC's money.
exactly,
Like let them spend it how they want to. Who cares?
exactly.
Now that Paramount's in charge, they're not going to spend money like this again.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? Like it's
And Lynn Varley was literally learning Photoshop on the
that's
book
insane. I didn't know
and
that.
going bananas with
Yeah,
it. Yeah. No, I love it. In fact, I even enjoyed the third Return to
the
Dark Knight,
Master
which I
Race.
think was that with Brian Azzarello and Andy
Yeah,
Kubert
I think.
with Frank Miller as
Yeah,
well. I enjoyed that too, man. I like the Dark Knight universe. I
I
think it's
think.
fun.
I think the thing about Frank Miller that we don't give him enough. I don't want to say we don't give him enough credit for, but we don't give him enough leeway for is
Mm,
that there is nothing. It's the same thing with Alan Moore in a sense, but I think we've elevated Alan Moore to some kind of literary genius, which may or may not be the case. It's completely up to the reader. But I
right.
think we don't give Miller the leeway to be creative a lot of times. Like
What do you mean we like? I feel like he's taken all the leeway.
that's what I
Like,
mean. Like, and then readers will criticize him taking that leeway, and you know what I mean. Like we don't give him
you
the
mean now they will more like they because Daredevil was unexpected. Then
right.
he does. Was it Ronin was after Dark Knight or before Dark Knight?
Ronin was before Batman Year One, but
Well, anyway,
also,
so he
yeah,
had a run of like Ronin, Dark Knight, Batman Year One with Mazzucchelli. Um, with the what did he
Martha
do with
Washington.
Martha Washington with
Uh,
Dave Gibbons? The
did he do
robot
Electro
and the kid.
Assassin?
What?
Did he write Electro Assassin? I
Yes,
can't
he wrote
remember.
Electro Assassin with Bill Sienkiewicz that I worked
Right,
on. Like and Love and War with the Kingpin.
that's right.
And Daredevil. I mean, he had his Daredevil. He had his Batman. He did what's the kid in the robot? Um,
Rusty, the boy robot, and the big guy.
or some, in the big guy
Big
with
guy and
Jeff
Rusty the boy.
Darrow. Yeah, Jeff Darrow. Martha Washington with Dave Gibbons. I mean, he's always been swinging for the rafters. You know what
And
I'm
I think
saying?
there's a point where people, like fans, have tried to limit that because of their lack of imagination. Do you know what I mean? I think
Well,
I
I
think
don't
that
listen. I don't know who those are. Like, I guess I don't have a lot of Frank Miller conversations. I will say after I list Jack Kirby and Chaikin and Toth and Ditko and CC Beck, Frank Miller is right there, man. Like
let me
he
ask
is
you a
one of
question.
my biggest influences.
What your
Sin
influence?
City, Sin
Never mind.
City.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I was
What
gonna
are you
say
gonna
never
say?
mind. Like when you said influences, I was trying to figure out what you were latching onto. Um,
Well, Frank Miller is like an acolyte of Jack Kirby in a very different way,
yeah.
like absolutely,
Mhm.
So I also want to quickly mention, did we talk about Klaus Janson last week?
I think I don't think we did.
Well, he has a show at the Philip Le Bon Gallery in Manhattan, and
We
I
didn't
was
mention that.
not able to make the opening, and it seemed like a lot of people showed up, and I'm bummed out that I couldn't make it. I've also been very sick the last couple of weeks, but uh, I was watching New York One News, and they were talking about him. He's in the time he's everywhere right now, and I'm
Klaus.
so thrilled for him because man, when you look at even when he was just drawing, Daredevil and Batman or
Mm,
whatever, he's great. And he has such a compelling shorthand because it shouldn't be that good. It looks that simple, but it's
mm,
actually that good, you
right.
know? And his color sense as well when he colors his own self. And you get like Joe Rosen lettering, which is just so understated.
Yeah.
Um, brilliant, brilliant. Like, I'm so glad he's getting his flowers, man, because he was always under Frank Miller,
Right.
like, and then at one point, Frank Miller was having to lay out, and Klaus was doing finishes and colors, like, and I don't know if he gets the credit that he
Mhm.
should, for his contributions to comics, and he's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, he is.
Um, the other two quick things you were talking about doing a rewatch on Watchmen.
Mhm.
I was lazy the other night, and I was like, let me check out Book of Boba Fett again
Oh, okay.
because I didn't love it. I
Yeah.
didn't like he became like a nice like gangster, like and that's cool, but it just felt like he went from like I feel like the better Boba Fett is the Mandalorian, if that makes sense. You
Yeah, it's a
know,
different character. I think
no, very different character, but because he's understated, the Mandalorian, because you don't always know what he's planning on doing, just like Boba Fett in the movies.
the thing about
Now it's just a guy, like
yeah, the thing about the Book of Boba Fett is once he starts learning from the Sand People, from the Tuscans,
I like that. I
I do
like that.
too, but it changes him. And
Absolutely. You're
and
right.
if you take if you accept that he can be changed by his interactions with these people that he's probably been racist towards, you know what I
Sure.
mean? Like in a sense, um, you have to accept what comes next, and it's that he's softened, and that's the
Yes.
problem is that Boba Fett isn't necessarily a character that can be softened, at least the way we are
Well, the way we imagined him, like he
right.
was the man with no name. He was the Clint Eastwood character, like if you think about his father's name, Django Fett, it's Django DJ
Yeah.
A and Go from the spaghetti westerns,
Mhm.
like uh so that's what was an homage to that. So I'm still enjoying it. I mean, I listen, I'm a sucker for Star Wars, like even if it's corny or whatever. And it was corny when it came out, the original movie in
As I say, it's not that
77.
it's corny. It was made for kids.
It was
That's
made
the
for
thing.
kids.
If
Yeah.
we like something like this, it's a plus because we're
Right.
like it wasn't made for us.
Right.
Maybe
And
you
if
could say, Mandalorian and Boba Fett, maybe even the Obi-Wan show and the Acolyte. They were probably made for our generation, for people that remember certain parts of the
sure,
lore. But I
sure.
feel like the Skeleton Crew
That's
was,
for kids.
and it was my favorite thing that they've done.
It had more cohesion because it
Yes,
wasn't trying to match up with other things we know about Star Wars, right?
right.
Like it was its own thing and could be its own thing,
Yeah,
That's
and I
unique.
think that was my favorite because it was so standalone. Like it wasn't
Right.
like it's like, oh, I get to explore the Star Wars, galaxy away.
Right.
Like I get to
Right.
explore that within this framework. Like they are they're almost all audience proxies, you know,
Yep.
and they hang
Yep.
out with Jude Law.
Right.
I mean,
And then I started watching, and it's really good in a subtle way. Wonder Man.
I got rid of Disney Plus, so I'm missing out on
Oh,
it.
all right. It's
I
good.
hear nothing but good things about it.
It's really good, man. It's
I
it's
believe
it's
the first
subtle.
episode is on YouTube,
Oh, okay. It's
so
good.
you can check it out. I mean, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
check it out.
yeah.
It's just
Check it out.
what's the point?
So you mentioned Die with Your Mask On, issue
Right.
number 3.
Yeah. Let's mention the Loading the Cannon podcast, which is also here on YouTube. We'll put
Okay.
a link for them up down below. I saw this book on Instagram. Somebody had posted it, and I was like, where do I get this? And it is, we did something similar to this at one point where we did our bracket of the greatest comic of all time, like, and we
Mhm.
argued it out and everything. And they just, it's very weirdly kind of intellectual. Like,
Mhm.
even though it's not entirely written intellectually, there's something intellectual about the compilation of this list.
Oh, it's very considered and very well
Yeah.
thought out. And I've only perused it honestly because I don't have the time. Like, I'm in the middle of trying to get antimatter done and
Yeah.
everything else, paying bills. But I am fascinated by this because this is the kind of thing. Remember the Comics Buyer's Guide?
Yes.
Like I used to get that every week, and it was like my favorite thing because it was like comics and sometimes
Mhm.
be articles and like it just reminds me of a compact version or an annual of the Comics Buyer's Guide by how many critics are in here? Like
I want to say five, maybe
12?
four.
No, I think there's more. I feel like let me just quickly go to the contributors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Oh,
12, 13,
there's
14
yeah,
contributors. Now I assume that they were all people who wrote reviews, you know?
yeah.
Um, and then there's some personal statements. I mean, it's a very considered publication. And at first, I was like, "All right, show me what you got." And then I read a couple of these things. I was like, "Oh, they're not messing around." Like
Yeah. I like at the back of the book, I mean, after they list their 100 and they get to number one, and we'll tell you, we're not going to keep you in suspense. We'll tell you all about it. But they have statistics, which is always my
right.
favorite thing. Creators with the most appearances: Alan Moore, 13, Jack Kirby, 10, Frank Miller, 8, Grant Morrison, 7. That's the top four.
Well, you
Keith
mean
Giffen, number
appearances? You mean
5.
in comics?
Like,
Or
how
they?
many, these creators, how many appearances they have on this list out of
Oh, you
100?
mean in the list? Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Giffen was number 5. And like, like very well put together. Artists with the most appearances: Jack Kirby's number 1, Keith Giffen has 5, Rick Veitch number 4, like is number 3 with 4 appearances, Frank Miller number 5 with 4 appearances. Appearances by decades: the 80s has 38 spots out of the 100.
Wow.
Like, I could, like, this is the kind of thing I could just like sit and not study, but
Right.
like I would just sit with this and for a couple of weeks. So they're
And I'll tell
top.
you, I'll tell you this real quick. The other thing it did to me is it didn't make me want to write reviews of my favorite comics, but it did make me want to like, what would be my top 10?
uh,
Like I don't know. And like if I look through here and I think about 100, is there one in here that I'm like that shouldn't make the top 100? And I don't think so. I think, then I'm thinking, well, what's 101? What's
that's
102?
don't do that, because that will kill me to try to figure out, oh, what's the next one. You know,
Right.
I'll tell you what number 101 is. 101 is Stray. I don't care if anybody
There you
says
go,
it is.
baby.
It's like,
There
all
you
right,
go.
I just missed. I just got to try harder.
That's right. That's right. That's a good metric to beat, like no, I'm looking at all the pages and I'm like, I can't. Oh, I don't know if I like that in the way they describe that. Number 27 is the Batman stories of Neil Adams.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That's
come on. We
some
know
of
what
them
you're
are
talking.
some of
It's
them are a
Denny
little
O'Neil.
iffy, not iffy, but a little kind of like, well, I get why you did it, but I'm not crazy that you did it that way.
Well, I mean, and then I don't know it by heart, but then do they not talk about the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Hard Road to Travel? Is that in here
I Let
with
me
Denny
take a look at the
O'Neil?
list again. I believe it is.
I'm looking
Might
really
just call it
quickly,
Hard Traveling Heroes or something.
or something like that. Yeah, like Green Lantern, Green Arrow. You would think that'd be in here. No, it's pretty what unimpeachable, is that the term?
That's
Like it's
I mean, there's debate within anything, but
of
I think this is
course.
a really, really solid list. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking oh, Electro lives again. Okay.
I'm shocked that I'm going to say it. I'm Because he's a friend of ours. I'm shocked that Copra is as high as it is.
Oh, what number was that?
Number 31. I probably would have put it definitely within, top one, definitely within the 100.
Do you
I
feel
don't
it's a top 100 comic?
I don't know that it's a top 50 comic. And I'll tell you
Right.
why. And it's because it's more of a pastiche than not. I know Mike does a
Yeah,
lot of original things. Michel Fiffe, he does a lot of original things with these characters, but
right.
I don't think these characters exist without Ostrander's Suicide Squad. So it's
Which
hard to.
actually is way low on the list, I
Right,
feel.
right.
You
And
know.
I think that's a weird kind of um, dynamic, I guess.
Oh, this is interesting. I see it One Punch Man, which I never read, is in here. So they
Manga.
are including other international comics.
Death Ray by Dan Clowes is in this.
Is Akira in this? Is that considered a superhero comic?
I don't think it is. I think it's considered science fiction.
Okay, Miss Fury is in here. I've never read Miss Fury. Glory, Joe Keating. Oh, look at that. I've never read that either. I'm toward the end now. Like I'm
Mhm.
just I know I well, I'm looking at Herbie. I'm like, really? Okay, but maybe it's great. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess it gets a little negotiable toward the end here, some of
Right.
this stuff. But that's like you said, that's why, these are conversation starters in a lot of
Mhm.
ways,
Yeah,
Um,
I just, first of all, I appreciate that somebody else did the work.
oh,
Number,
Suicide Squad is 97. To
that's crazy.
that's
Like,
interesting.
I mean, it's crazy in light of FIFA being 31. Like, I don't know if
Right.
they did much with those. I mean, we can say those aren't the same characters. That's fine. But
Well,
we,
ultimately they're not. They're his. Like,
yeah,
he
and we could
it
say,
started
but
off as some of them were something of an homage, but he did do his own original flex,
yeah,
ultimately,
but
with
I
that.
mean, it's parsable if it
So,
was.
there any other comics listed that would be adjacent, like in that's the spirit of a Copra to Suicide Squad knee Copra?
I
Like, is there
mean,
other
you can make arguments that a lot of the Rick Veitch stuff, like the one,
right?
could be considered. Well, that's
Well, or satire parody of and I
right.
think those
So
Stardust. Well, no, Stardust wasn't a. I guess it was a product of its own time.
right.
You know what I saw missing that I would have had in my top 100
Hmm.
off the dome is Next Wave.
Yeah,
I
yeah. The Warren
really
Ellis
like
and Stuart
Warren
Immonen.
Ellis and
Stuart Immonen.
Stuart Eminem. I just love that series, a lot.
Yeah,
And maybe I would have had Machine Man in there, or
Machine Man with the Barry Windsor Smith one or the
oh, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking
Kirby
uh
original,
Kirby Ditko,
the
because Ditko took
2001.
over. I really enjoyed that comic, and like,
Not bad.
I mean, I guess Devil Dinosaur is not a superhero comic. It's like a Planet of the Apes type comic,
Right.
like. Although is
That
Commandy superhero?
I say it is only because it was
It's not
published
in
as a
there, I don't
superhero
think.
comic. It's not in there. OMAC is in it,
Omax, yeah.
so
I would definitely have Omac in my top 10, Vito.
you would.
In my top 10. And like I think All Star Superman
It's number
either
six.
one is either one or two in my list.
Mhm.
But then it's got to be FF will always be in there, obviously, up there. FF Omac, probably Captain America for the many different iterations of that, series.
Mhm.
What do you have any off the cuff? Like Batman's got it. I mean, I'd have to pick some Batman stories, or
Um,
Daredevil.
I think I don't know. I don't know that anyone would agree with me, but I think it definitely warrants a top 100. Would be the Batman Hush, the first Hush storyline,
Oh yeah,
uh,
that was good. That
because
was
it,
good.
it was good. It had a top creator at the top of his game. It had it was greatest hits. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? It was Batman versus all of his villains. Greatest hits.
Hmm.
It brought
Hmm.
back, even though not technically it didn't bring him back, but it brought back the idea of Jason Todd, even though that was really done by Judd Winnick and Doug Mankey in Under the Red Hood. Um,
Hmm.
but like I think Batman Hush deserves a spot in a top 100 list like this of
You
super.
know, I would have put Banner in here, the 4 issue Richard
Richard
Corbin,
Corbin.
Brian Azzarello.
I would
That's
put
one of my favorite Hulk stories. I would have put Punisher the End
oh
by uh was that Garth Ennis and Richard Corbin.
yes.
That
I
story is one of the best ever written.
I would put the first Umbrella Academy on here.
Never read that
It's
series.
amazing. Like
I hear it's
it's
great.
everything, whatever you like about superhero comics, like Doom Patrol, the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol is on the list
Right.
here. And I
Right.
feel like that is the natural succession of it. I'll put it to you this way. If Suicide Squad and Cobra can exist on this list,
Right.
then Doom Patrol and Umbrella Academy could definitely
Got it.
exist on this list together.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Like
Got it.
it's got that same spirit. I really enjoyed Umbrella Academy, and
No, I've heard
I
great
definitely think it
things.
deserves to be on here.
That's Gerard Way, right?
Yeah,
And didn't
Gerard
he
Way and the
write Doom
Ballot Brothers.
Patrol?
What's that?
He wrote Doom Patrol.
Yes, he did.
I think he did like
Nick
two
Darrington.
miniseries or something, or three, you know.
Mhm.
Um, Whitney's daughter Opal is a big Gerard Way fan. Is he My Chemical Romance or something? Oh,
Yes.
that's right. Say he was talking to
Yeah.
Opal. I think they were like bonding
Yeah.
over that guy. He's got it covered between comics and music. I mean, come on, right?
Like I don't see like at number 71, I don't see why Captain Victory's on here as
Oh,
opposed
I
to
so I also saw that Silver Star is on here,
yeah,
and I thought Silver Star was not that good.
yeah, I feel
It
like
was a screenplay, that he originally wrote and
yes,
then turned it into the comic. But and also I'm seeing this comic called Invasion. I don't know what that is with
that was a
December
DC
'93.
Comics event that happened post Crisis on Infinite Earths. I would
I
say
mean, I'll read what they have to say. Um, Moon Knight's interesting because it's the Jeff Lemire Moon Knight, which I've
yeah.
not read, heard good things about. But I always think about the Doug Mensch, Bill Sienkiewicz Moon Knight.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, Black Panther. I never read that Black Panther. I do have older
That
Black,
is
Don
that is
McGregor.
the first Marvel Knights Black Panther that they're talking about.
Now they have a Silver Surfer here called Black by Donny Cates and Tradd Moore,
Hmm.
but do they have the original first 17 issues, Stan Lee, John Buscema in here?
I believe it is.
I'll bet you they have the Mobius one in here.
They that one is on here.
You know what
That
I'm
one,
glad I saw made it in here because I do love it. Was the Iron Man Armor Wars 2.
oh yeah,
That's some of John Romita Jr.'s best artwork, and Bob Wiacek's inking on that is unbelievable. It's
yeah.
majestic. We got Savage Dragon in here.
Nexus is on here, which is great.
Oh yeah, I love Nexus. Eternals, that's interesting. Vision is great.
Yeah,
Oh
again,
yeah,
Eternals. Like as much as I like the characters in the Eternals, I
yeah,
don't know that I've ever read a good Eternals story until
yeah.
Kieran Gillen did it. Kieran Gillen and Esau Ribic did a.
Oh, I never read those. I
They're
never read
good. They're
that.
really good. They came out around the time of the movie, and
Right.
I was like,
Again, I'm going to read their review of it because sometimes it's interesting. Obviously that's why we have criticism is because it can open your eyes,
Mhm.
a little bit more. Oh, the Spectre's in here. That's interesting. The Spirit.
Yeah,
Um, oh wow, for one story for the man who has everything, the Superman story that Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons did.
yeah, one issue
One
made the
issue.
top 100. Yeah, there's like if you have runs and then you have like single issues, then you have
Right.
um,
Right.
just the creators work on that issue on that character or that book. Like it's not all over the place. I think it's
Right.
very well considered and very well vetted. It's just again like I don't know that I would put Captain Victory or Silver Star in here.
Yeah.
I definitely would put Umbrella Academy in here. I would definitely put Flex Mentalo's in here, so I'm proud of that.
Oh, it's great.
That one.
That's great. No, I
Next
mean
week,
it's a good list. It's not like there should be a part two, like in
oh,
a way.
I hope. Let's hope the guys that like I'll tag them below. Let's hope they do another part two. Like let's get the
I
next
mean,
200.
it's a really good list, and good God, imagine if you're like, I'm into superhero comics. Turn me out like, what should I read? I'd be like, here, just look at this right here.
it's
You won't go wrong.
it's insanity too when you think about it because like we don't like all the comics we've read in our lives. Um, getting to 100. I mean, is so like you're killing a lot of darlings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love Nightwing, and I love a couple of the runs. I've gone on record as saying the Tom Taylor Bruno Redondo run that just recently ended.
Hmm.
Fantastic, and it's on par with anything that Chuck Dixon and Scott McDaniel did in the first run of theirs. So I would have liked to have seen one of those represented on here, maybe it's 101. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely worth
It
worth.
almost makes you. I almost would have, and this is a different kind of undertaking because I like that it mixes alternative, independent comics with mainstream comics. I think
Hmm.
that's the right way to go. But it would have been interesting if it just stuck to DC and Marvel, uh, top 100, which would have kicked out a bunch of independent comics, and
Right.
then have the indie top 100. But then the question is there 100 really great independent superhero comics? And I'm talking about superhero genre.
Jesus, Dean. I mean, 4 or 5 of them are going to be Image founders. Whether you like Youngblood
Are
or
they good though? Well,
not, I'm
I
saying whether you
I
like
don't.
Youngblood
They
or
didn't
not.
make this list.
True.
Not one. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Savage Dragon did,
Yeah, Savage Dragon.
but
Uh,
not Spawn.
Spawn
Not
should make a list. You know what? We should make a indie superhero 100. This might
just
be
so if it's a
this might be
superhero
the
indie one,
spark.
it could be. But I would just throw out some titles. I'm not writing jack shit, man.
I ain't writing
There's no
shit
way.
either. I'm
You
just gonna
know,
give you a list and then we can
give
vet
me
it.
a list. But like, I don't know, man. Then it begs the question: other genres, like, is there a top 100 crime? Top 100 science fiction, probably
Yeah,
fantasy,
it's got to
probably.
be. The problem, the thing about this one is they also include Hellboy, which is
Right,
not in mainstream.
right,
Supreme by Alan Moore, which was created by Rob Liefeld. You know,
right,
they have the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which isn't
right.
technically a superhero story, but it's on here.
Sure, sure.
So Martial Law, which is kind of a dystopian type of superhero.
Yeah, he's not necessarily a superhero for me. I would have
Right.
kept that as more sci-fi kind of, because I don't. Yeah, but it's interesting. But you read I'm looking forward to reading why they're citing this
Mhm.
as a superhero comic.
I
Like
this the thing about this publication, it's basically a zine, like it's
right,
hands maybe not hand stamped or hand stapled, but close.
practically. I
This
mean,
could definitely be a tomorrow's book. Do you know what I mean? Like
oh, totally.
it
I
could
mean,
have
maybe
been.
that's sort of its destination to have a more permanent, kind of way. But I do love, again, how like, in some ways it's just a Xerox product,
Yeah,
like
I love
that's
that.
what it feels like. And in that way it feels less precious and
Yeah.
more negotiable in that way, and I really appreciate this. I was very surprised when I ordered and got in the mail. I was like, oh, I get it. I totally get what happened here,
Mhm.
And actually, this was derived from a YouTube where they did this on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, they have a YouTube channel that I think went through a couple of these couple of the top 100 guys, not all of them, but a
Right,
couple of
right,
them. They went into depth.
right.
And yeah, I'm look who's on the cover there.
Is that Megaton Man?
I believe so.
Did he make it into the? I see Blue Beetles on there too. I don't think. Oh, there's that guy. What's his name with the hockey mask?
Wild
Matt
Dog. He's not in it.
Wild Dog.
You know who created Wild Dog?
Oh, the guy who did Miss Tree,
Max Allen
Max Allen
Collins.
Collins. Max Allen Collins.
Road to Perdition, Max Allen Collins. Maybe he's not in there, meaning Megatron.
I don't think some of these characters are in this book.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cover though.
Now wait, what were the first two issues of Die with the Mask on?
I don't know.
Do they have it in the?
That's going to
Now I'm
be the next
curious.
question.
I need to know.
Yeah, we need
Well,
to.
I thanks for pointing this out to me because like usually
Oh yeah.
I don't indulge stuff like this because like this can change as I'm reading it. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
sure.
And that's
That's
the
the best
point.
part.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up soon, right?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
So I want to just remind people. You should remind people about Stray.
I will. Uh, Go to iamthestray.com, iamthestray.com, and you can sign up to be notified upon launch, which is going to be any day now. Like this comes out Monday, it should be launching tomorrow. Um, I don't know what the rewards are. I can't sell it to you. I know there's a coin and there's a couple of comics, and what else is there?
CD man, it's CD.
And but we really want to color it. We really want to put it out, and I want to put out number 4 this year so we can get to the end of this story. I'm really proud of this story. the Requiem storyline is fantastic. I really want to get to the end of it. So any any help that you guys can give to doing that would be great. And you, Dean, we have our real life stories.
Real life comics only in New York. And we have the pre-launch at the Kickstarter. All you have to do is notify me on launch, or when it. All you're doing is just registering and clicking on that button, so that when it does launch, I believe on April 8th, you'll be notified, and then you'll
Immediately.
actually see the video and see more information. And I don't know how many tiers that's going to have. In fact, we haven't even discussed that.
I
So
did
we
a
got a
story
month.
and that's it.
That's right. I mean, the book is incredible. It's
Yeah, we
216
got to look at
pages.
a proof when I was up in New York of a couple of the stories, and I think we saw the introduction. I did some proofreading notes on it,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
but it's phenomenal. It's going to be a huge book. Steve Walker and I did a story that I'm very proud of, and if you like Steve Walker from his episode appearance on here, and you're looking forward to Pay the Devil, this is a great primer. I know it's only 6 issues. I mean, 6 pages, but hey, it's a
Yeah,
good
man.
teaser.
I'm just writing down notes right now who we should have on the show. For future stuff, because that's another thing. When this campaign is up for April 8th for like a month, we have opportunity to have 4 episodes
Yeah,
where we have some of the contributors on in and talk about that as well,
yeah.
what they do for the book. And then I think some of my tiers from Antimatter, one of the tiers was you get to come on to the Vito X Dino podcast. So I got to talk to those people
Oh,
as
that's gonna be
guests
fun.
on the show, which should be a lot of fun. So, all right. Well, yeah, those are the 2 Kickstarters you should be notified about, including all the other great comics on Kickstarter and all the crowdfunders.
Save your money.
Next,
We're gonna
yeah,
take it
right.
from you.
And yeah, we'll talk about shows that are coming up soon. That will be a
I
part
know that
of.
you
So.
have one scheduled for August. I didn't want to announce it just yet because it's so far away, but
Oh yeah, that's far away. But April, I'm going to be in 3 shows.
yeah, we got to
I'm
set.
going to be at Kingston, at Bix, and Ithaca. So that's why I would also like to have my comic, my new antimatter in my hands,
Mhm.
because that's 3 opportunities to make rent
Yes.
and fund the next antimatter, which I have 4 or 5 already like figured out.
Mhm.
And I would love to think that I could continue this, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
And yeah, if you want a down and dirty drawing for $100, hit me up. All right.
you get it on. You can DM you, right,
Yeah,
on Facebook
just
or
just
whatever.
just
You
just
should put it up as an option on your Etsy store as well.
oh yeah, you know what? I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, people do it all
Okay.
the time.
All right.
Don't
All
forget,
right.
we have a T-shirt for sale down below, and we also are still taking donations for upgrading our equipment. That's it. We hope to talk to you guys next week. Let's hope that this war in the Middle East ends soon because it's senseless and we don't need wars in this world. Um, it's probably not going to, unfortunately. I, my heart goes out to all those people out there that are just dying for no reason, just dying for no reason.
Yeah.
Comics, 100, top 100. Let's try to end on a happy note. Oh, and please, I'll say it again. Do go out and get this. Get the second print. There's probably see, these are sticking around
And
in
say
your.
the name. Say the name
It's
again.
called The New History of the DC Universe, the Dakota Incident #1. These copies are still around in your comic stores where you can get the second print. I can't praise this book enough. Like it's really an achievement. And congratulations to Joe Illidge and everybody involved. It's amazing.
Go, Joe.
All right, everyone. Have a good night. We'll talk to you guys next week. See you, Dean.
Nighty night.